Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
हमारे कार्यक्रम पेश किए जाते हैं कई भाषाओं में। कृपया देखें suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Whenever there is a wild horse burning, or whenever it's
You cannot do point finger, one or two organizations.
usted no puede poner el dedo y decir es una o otra.
It's just all together because we are warming the climate
Es que somos todos juntos porque nosotros estamos
by cutting the trees,
al cortar los árboles,
by raising the animals. We do produce methane.
al criar a los animales producimos el metano.
Yes, so the wildfire is easier to happen now.
Así que es más fácil que los incendios forestales sucedan ahora.
Fires around the world and the key to their prevention, part 2 of 3. Continue watching to find out more.
Ba'aje Feritu Fahe means have a nice day in Deviahi, the official language of Maldives. I am Aminat. The eco-friendly people of Maldives, thank you for your caring attitude towards our animal friends and those in need. Welcome to part 2 of our 3-part series, Fires Around the World and the Key to Their Prevention. On today's episode, we'll travel to California, USA, and Europe. Let's first visit California to learn more about what has happened to its formerly glorious forest over the past few years. Although fires are not unusual in California, since 2017, the state has been devastated by an unprecedented series of infernos. In 2017 and 2018, Californians suffered through the deadliest and most destructive wildfires in recorded history. In 2017, the Thomas Fire in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties set a record for the largest fire California had ever experienced, burning a total of approximately 281,893 acres or 114,078 hectares in the southern part of the state. Then a second blaze, the Tubbs Fire, broke out in northern California, scorching its way through 5,636 buildings and setting a record for the greatest number of structures destroyed in a single fire, while also taking the lives of 22 people. Disastrous as these two fires were, their records were quickly broken, because in 2018, the Mendocino Complex fire set another record for total area burned, destroying 459,123 acres or 185,804 hectares. Then, in 2018, the Camp Fire, in which 18,804 structures were destroyed and 85 people were killed, established yet another record as the most destructive fire in California's history. The Camp Fire wiped out almost the entire forest community of Paradise. These fires had other effects too. The smoke they produced caused high levels of pollution and extremely unhealthy air for millions of citizens. Countless wild animals lost their forest homes. The carbon-absorbing capacity of the trees was lost, and megatons of carbon were released into the atmosphere as the trees burned. The recent California wildfires also had a disastrous side effect: mudslides. When forests and ground cover burn, the soil becomes covered with charred wood, debris, and ash. Then, when it rains, the wet ash becomes extremely slippery, so the debris easily slides over it. In addition, the root structures of trees and plants normally hold soil in place. But after a fire, these structures are destroyed, and the soil can much more readily move, especially on steeply sloped land. Thus, after a forest fire, mud and debris slides can readily occur. In January 2018, just after the Thomas Fire, this is exactly what happened in Santa Barbara County, California, where a massive mudslide flowed through the town of Montecito, destroying 100 homes and killing 21 people. Besides the damage they cause, the cost of fighting these fires is extremely high. In 2017 and 2018, the state of California spent more than 1.5 billion US dollars for fire suppression, more than during any other two-year period in the state's history. The reason for these disasters is easy to pinpoint. As a result of global warming, the length of the fire season in California has increased by 75 days, with fires now starting earlier in the year and burning until later. And the fires are also much larger and more intense than in the past. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, CAL FIRE, which handles emergency response and research protection for the state, was on the front lines, fighting all of the wildfires. In their 2019 report, CAL FIRE stated, climate change is considered a key driver of this trend. Warmer spring and summer temperatures reduce snowpack, and earlier spring snowmelt create longer and more intense dry seasons that increase moisture stress on vegetation and make forests more susceptible to severe wildfire. Many experts agree that rising global temperatures have the most dangerous impact on forests. Dr. Park Williams, a bioclimatologist and climate change expert from Columbia University, says, each degree of warming causes way more fire than the previous degree of warming did, and that's a really big deal. He explained that every increment in temperature accelerates evaporation, drying out the soil and making trees and vegetation tinder dry, ready fuel for a blaze. Thus, he explains, even in a wet year, the intense heat dries out the forests so quickly it is as though the rain never fell. He adds, heat is the most clear result of human-caused climate change. It has been estimated that as a result of wildfires, more than 129 million dead trees currently exist in California. We'll take a moment now to listen to an important message and return shortly. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to part 2 of our series, Fires Around the World and the Key to Their Prevention. We'll now travel to Europe to learn about the forest fires in that part of the world. Forests and woodlands form an important part of the European landscape, covering more than 40% of the total land area. In the northern countries, such as Finland and Sweden, as much as 70% of the land is covered by trees. However, over the past few years, Europe has suffered through droughts accompanied by record-high temperatures. And now, the magnificent forests, once a great asset to the EU countries, are seriously threatened as the tinder-dry woodlands are extremely susceptible to fire. The greatest threat exists in the hot, dry, and fire-prone climate of the Mediterranean region, where the forests have been highly stressed and are slowly dying from drought, making it increasingly easy for them to rapidly burst into flames. In 2017, massive infernos swept through Italy, Portugal, and Spain, burning more than 800,000 hectares, killing 127 people and causing 11 billion US dollars or 10 billion euros worth of damage. It was Europe's worst year on record for wildfires. Not only are fires occurring more frequently in Europe, but they are also burning much larger areas than in the past. For example, in 2018, northern European countries experienced from 20 to 200 times more area burned than normal. During the summer of 2019, Europe was again suffering from drought when, in July, a massive heat wave swept across the continent. At least 12 countries experienced record-breaking heat, with temperatures soaring over 40 degrees Celsius. Many of the continent's forests became tinder dry and even more vulnerable to fire. Weeks later, the fires did indeed start to burn. In August 2019, more than 1,000 firefighters were battling dozens of fires across Greece when a state of emergency was declared on Evia Island near Athens, and hundreds of residents were evacuated from an inferno that swept across the island. Meanwhile, in Spain, fire erupted on the Canary Islands off the northwest coast of Africa. On Gran Canaria, one of the nation's most popular tourist destinations, the blazes forced more than 9,000 people to evacuate. Then, in Turkey, fires broke out in 4 separate areas of Mughla and Izmir provinces. More than 1,500 firefighters struggled to control the flames, which swept through hundreds of hectares of forest along the Aegean coast. How can we stop these disastrous fires? Many world-renowned climate change experts and scientists report that the primary cause of global warming is the raising of livestock animals. And so the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, recommends a widespread shift to a plant-based diet. Supreme Master Ching Hai similarly proposes that the fastest, most efficient way to halt global warming is for all people to adopt a vegan lifestyle.
Whenever there is a wild forest burning, or whenever it's
You cannot do point finger, one or two organizations.
usted no puede poner el dedo y decir es una o dos organizaciones.
It's just all together because we are warming the climate
Es que somos todos juntos porque nosotros estamos
by cutting the trees,
al cortar los árboles,
by raising the animals. We do produce methane.
al criar a los animales producimos el metano.
Yes, so the wildfire is easier to happen now
Así que es más fácil que los incendios forestales sucedan ahora.
because according to the latest report,
Sí, porque de acuerdo a los reportes más recientes,
animals is responsible for 51% at least of all the greenhouse gas emission that heat up the planet.
los animales son responsables por lo menos del 51% de los gases de efecto invernadero que calientan nuestro planeta.
So if we stop animal industry, we cut out 51%
Así que si eliminamos la industria animal, eliminamos el 1%
of the heat.
del calor.
Yeah?
Sí.
And then, if we use all the tillable land, or the cultivable land, to plant organic vegetable and fruit,
Y entonces si usamos toda la tierra disponible arable que se usa para los animales para plantar orgánico,
then we cut off another 40% at least of carbon dioxide that exists.
entonces eliminamos por lo menos otro 40% del dióxido de carbono que ya existe.
The planet cool off
El planeta ya se enfrió
in a few years.
en unos cuantos años.
I mean, when the animal all die naturally, in a few years,
Quiero decir, cuando los animales mueran naturalmente en unos pocos años
and all the organic vegetable come in,
y todos los vegetales orgánicos crezcan,
few years time, we don't have any 2 degrees.
en unos cuantos años ya no tendremos 2 grados,
Yes.
2 grados, ¿sí?
Then we have the planet still.
Y entonces aún tendremos nuestro...
We can still keep the cars, train,
Todavía podemos tener carros,
airplane,
aviones,
until
We develop better, greener technology for transportation, etc.
you see what I mean? We still have all that, all the comfort.
vean a lo que me refiero, tenemos todavía todas las comodidades.
Yes, just stop the animal industry and become vegan.
Many thanks to the individuals who helped those in need in the fire-affected areas. We pray that all humans and our animal friends will always be safe. Precious viewers, thank you for your thoughtful company on today's program, Fires Around the World and the Key to Their Prevention, Part 2 of 3. Please join us again on Monday, March 23rd for the concluding episode of this series. Coming up next is Recognizing Excellence, the Guzi Peace Prize 2019, Part 1 up to right after Noteworthy News. May all beings soon adopt the noble, compassionate vegan lifestyle to ensure that our children and our children's children live in a safe, peaceful, and beautiful world.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.